Okay, so today I'm here with one of my good friends, Christine. So you guys may have seen her on a prior video. She is the one that does those renovation loans you guys are always asking me about. And I'm like, don't ask me, ask Christine because she's the expert. So today Christine's going to be talking about ADUs because ADUs are they're the hot thing if you already own a house, right?
Yes,
So
100%.
can you explain to everyone, let's start off with what is an ADU?
So an ADU, that's an abbreviation for accessory dwelling unit. So if you have a home, let's say a single family home, and let's say you have a garage behind you that you're like, I'd like to build an accessory dwelling unit, you could Airbnb it, you can rent it out long term, and you can build it above the garage.
Okay. Can you do it standalone too?
Yes, on our two conventional programs, we can do a standalone build for an ADU. On
Okay.
FHA, which is our third product, they don't allow from ground up standalone. So
Okay.
it would just depend which program, which we would help. Also, ADUs can be attached to the property. Like, let's say you have an unfinished attic, you can make that into an ADU as long as it has, Jennifer, two egresses, like, a way in and a way out. So you'd have, two entrance, exit. So that's a requirement. Kitchen, bathroom, and two egresses completes the requirements for an ADU. So you can do it in the attic, you can do it in the basement, you can build standalone on one of the programs, you can do it above a garage. So there's a lot of options, for people with the ADU units now.
So what was interesting to me about this is, so I always have my calendar open so people can book and, ask us questions. And we're getting so many calls about people wanting to buy multi-units because they want a house hack. But finding those properties is actually very difficult, because the ones that are going to cash flow, a lot of times investors are snapping them up. So this could be another way for someone to get in the market. Like, if you can hear Muppet, she's unbelievable. To get in the market, buy a single family, and then, so would they be refinancing, adding the cost of the ADU? How does the money work?
Yeah, so that's a great question. It can be used on either a refinance or a purchase. So if you're buying a home and you want to put the ADU on it right away, you can.
Okay,
Or if
but
you
wait,
want to
I'm going to ask,
okay.
What is the turn time? Because we all know that real estate agents, some areas we can get longer closes, but how long would it take to close one of these bad boys?
I mean, typically you're looking at 45 to 60 days. So if you're in a market where they're not going to give you that time frame, you buy it and then we'll refinance into the ADU program.
Got it. Okay, so with these programs, they're not seconds, correct? It's a whole new mortgage that has the cost of the ADU in it.
Right. It has to be one mortgage. So, the tricky part for some people who may have refinanced in the past 2 years, they may have a lower rate. And today's market rates are obviously a little bit higher, but some people have, they don't owe a lot. And by doing the ADU unit, they're adding so much value, they will go ahead and refinance. And obviously we're going to work with them forever to bring their rates down when the rates go down. I mean, they're cyclical, as you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting concept. I'm just sitting here thinking out loud. But for someone who's retired, they've gained so much equity in their house over the last 2 years with housing prices going up. It's a great opportunity for them to put on, that additional unit, either to rent out for cash flow, but also because, like, does this keep you up at night? I'm always like, who's going to take care of me and where are they going to live? So what's the max size these things can be? Because I'm assuming I can't build a 2,000 square foot ADU, or can I?
Well, yeah, I mean, as long as it meets the city codes, normally you're not going to have that kind of room, but if it complies, yes. But normally the lots, like I'm doing one right now in Culver City, California, it's to what conforms to the lot size. They'll let you know what size you can build. So, if you're on a huge lot for some reason, yes, then it's possible you can. It's going to all depend on the city codes.
Got it. Okay. So if someone was thinking of doing this, okay, actually, before we do that, you mentioned something before the call that I thought was pretty cool. You were saying that you could actually do this on a property that already has multiple units. Can you tell people more about that? Because for investors,
yeah. So this is what's great. If you have a 2 or 3 unit property, and again, let's say you have an unfinished attic or a lower level like basement that's not finished, you can finish that and make that into your ADU, or again, over the garage. That's fine. So 2 and 3 units can now have either a third or fourth unit, adds value to the property, gives you additional rent. The 2 and 3 units are very popular to add, especially in certain markets where they have unfinished basements. People are looking for ways to increase their revenue with the income.
I mean, everyone has to with housing affordability where it is. Like, I'm sitting here going, how can I do this? But I live on a hill, it'd be really bad. Okay, so, and that's only with conventional that you can add to the 2 and 3 units. I believe you told me that.
Yes,
so
that's correct.
FHA is going to be owner occupied only. Are the Fannie and Freddie products, are those owner occupied only? Or if someone has an investment property, can they do this? What about second homes? You know, everyone's going to ask that question.
Yeah, these are for owner occupied only for the ADU units. That's correct.
Okay. And then it's kind of interesting for VA as well. Like, I know because you're not doing it with VA, but you could take a VA, because I have a lot of VA buyers who buy multi-units, and they could refinance into the conventional, add another ADU. If it's their first time, restore their eligibility. There's just so many different ways to play with this product. So if someone wants to do this, should they be calling you first to make sure they even qualify? Or what are the steps?
Yeah, I definitely say that, because you don't want to go pay an architect to find out that you don't qualify. On one of the programs, they do allow for 30% of total income to be used towards rent, as long as you take a landlord education class or you have landlord history. So that may help too, qualifying them. But we absolutely would want to pre-approve them first. Once we do that, then you would check with your local municipality if they will allow it, because you got to make sure you get, that information. If they say yes, that's when you engage with, your architect or contractor, for the design and the finished product. We would then at the same time be working to get what's called a consultant out to help do a feasibility bid, so we can see cost analysis for your client. But standard ADUs, if they're being like built or added, they're running between 100 and 250,000. It depends on size, Jennifer, what I'm saying. But if you have like an attached basement that already like maybe has plumbing that's not finished, but they put a bathroom down there, you're not looking at a lot of money to finish that off. You'd be more towards the 60 to 100,000. It's when we do the standalones, they're about 250.
Right. Okay. And then, in California, I know there's been a big push where they're making ADUs easier than ever for people to put forward, because we have such a housing problem. So I think if you're in a state where they're really pushing this, it could be a huge benefit. Now, what about if someone wants to buy? I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you anyways. What if someone wants to buy a manufactured and have that be the ADU? Can you do that?
We can't do that. No, not on the manufactured. Great question.
What about one of those build a kit houses? Because there's a lot of those too, like Boxable, the one that Elon Musk was living in. Can they be prefab?
I'd have to check on that. That's a great question, and I will find that out. We can report back on our next video.
We'll report back on that one. I know I hit you from left field with that. No one's probably ever going to do it, but I have a lot of Elon Musk followers, so right. I thought we should cover it. Okay, so first step, see if you qualify. Second step, make sure that your county actually does it, or of course, check the county site first. Is it easy? Is it easy for people to find this information, and do they have to have money to pay that architect and the other person first, or can we finance all of that?
So it is easy to find out, because you're just going to be calling your local municipality, the building department, or go to the building department and ask them.
And you just call. I mean, look, we're going really basic here. Just call, if you were calling, what would you just be like, hey, can I do an ADU?
I have a like in Colorado, we're doing one right now. Colorado has a shortage of housing. We're doing a lot of ADUs in Colorado because it's, they need it. So you call your building department and say, hi, I'd like to, do an accessory dwelling unit. What is the code? Is it allowed? Are there any, and they usually might even direct them to like a link on their website that may have information on it, especially like in Chicago, Colorado. These are all places really encouraging ADU, especially in California too. Again, I have 2 going on in California, 1 in Colorado. Very, very easy to find out. Then the second question you had is, what about the architect? You got to pay him. you do pay them up front. We don't have a loan yet to pay them, but we can reimburse you once the loan closes. We can get you back that money. So if you paid $5,000 for the architect plans, you can get that reimbursed once we close on the loan. That is a reimbursable.
If you back out or you decide not to do it, you've lost that money. So you've got it.
Yeah, that's a sunk cost. Like, right.
Okay. So are there two things that people should walk away from this video with? Like, I see house hacking and potential for more income, but the math has to work. What are your two big takeaways?
I think it's income and added value to the property. Anytime you have an ADU, you have an added value. You can Airbnb it. You can rent it long-term. You can use it to help take care of an elderly parent. Let's say you're a millennial and your parents live and they build an ADU unit. Well, you can help them and you have your own separate living quarters. Those are kind of the three things we're seeing a lot and why people are doing them.
Yeah, I think it's a great product. So 45 to 60 days to close, but the 45 to 60 days is the architect has already got the plans ready to go.
Yeah, once we have architect plans, it's 30 days to close. When I say the 45 to 60, those are more on the just adding to a home, not doing a standalone build, because that's more intricate plans. So yeah, once we have the architect floor plan, not the full blueprints, we just need a floor plan showing room count, room layout, and square footage. Then we order the appraisal. We don't need final blueprint plans. That goes for permits. We don't need that on a purchase. We just need the floor plan.
So is the quickest, easiest way to do it, of course, if your property allows this, would it be just to do like personally, if I was going to have a renter, I'd want a standalone unit. Is that the quickest way to do it, is to do the standalone unit because you're not having to deal with the structural on the current?
No, no, they're both about the same. If you have the current one, sometimes it's quicker because you already have the plumbing, you have the house is sealed. You can get those, just put up your drywall, your walls and kitchen. Standalones are going to require more because you need structural plan. Standalones are actually take a little more time than the ones that are in place that are just being added to the property.
So last question, probably not. The loan, the way it works is you do all this, and then is it like a 203K or something where the construction person's paid in draws? Because you're not going to have the ADU built in 60 days. It's just you're getting the money at 60 days, right?
So once we close, then the money's set into a construction escrow account. They will give the GC up to $50,000, half of material funds. So let's say your material costs are $120,000. They would give the contractor $50,000. It's 50% or $50,000, whatever's, most. So they will get that to help with the material funds. Then they give draws as work is completed. And they do a 10% holdback for each draw. And then at the end, final payout is done and final inspection.
Okay. And then with the draws, is someone going out to make sure that the person's actually doing what they say they're doing? Okay.
Yeah. So we utilize on all these programs something called a HUD consultant. That consultants start to finish with the clients, because they're also going to come out and do an analysis to make sure you're not being overcharged or undercharged. And then they will help get the contractor paid that first initial money. They do all draw inspections to do the photographs, and they only pay out on what is done. We have contractors try to say they want more than what's done, and we can't pay that. We have to just pay on work completed.
And people are going to ask this: can you be your own contractor even if you're not licensed?
Well, some states don't require license, but I think the bigger question is, can you be your own general contractor? If you're in the trades, meaning you are a general contractor, you're a licensed electrician, licensed plumber, you're an architect by trade. I've had people who are project managers get an okay to manage project. So if you're in the trades, there is a good chance you can be your own general contractor. Yes. Okay,
but watching a lot of HGTV and having a dream and doing YouTube research does not count, correct?
No. And especially, most people have a full-time job and they're not going to be able to do both. And they want these to get built quickly, because we are giving money on an asset that is only an asset if it's built in a timely fashion.
Right. So is it like other loans where it's the 12-month, like they have to get it completed within a year?
Yeah, they always say standard 6 months, and then they get up to 6 additional months of extensions. So yeah, 1 year is the completion time frame. Now, if there's supply chain, weather issues, things like that, when COVID hit, they were extending past that. So there are, circumstances where it may take a little longer, and they'll get approved for that.
Okay. Well, okay. So all of this has been crazy helpful. Now, are you, and for anyone who's gotten this far, Christine are you still doing seminars like once a month on like Zoom seminars on 203Ks, home styles, ADUs, everything related to construction?
Yeah, we have a recorded webinar. It just seems easier for people's schedule. So we send those out if people are interested, then they can listen to that. And we do, some numbers, make sure the numbers look good for everybody. So we do a lot of intense worksheets and walk them through that. So yes, we can provide anything. If people have interest in that, we can definitely provide that.
And how many states are you licensed in now?
Like 43.
Oh, you're getting, okay. You gotta catch me. You gotta get 5 more. Are you gonna do Utah or no?
No, I'm not doing Utah.
No, everyone, no one's doing Utah because the licensing requirements are crazy. So, okay, so you can do this pretty much everywhere. I'll have all your contact information in there. But yeah, I think I'm excited about the ADU
yes
potential. Like,
any questions, they can reach out to you or me and we'll get it started for them.
I will give them all your contact information because that is where they will end up. So thank you for stopping
Thanks,
by.
Jennifer.
I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.